name is Donna Wood. I am retired for 7 years now from the David Wilson Chair in Business Ethics at the University of Northern Iowa. Before that, I was 22 years at the University of Pittsburgh Business School, with a couple of semesters to play around at the Darden School at University of Virginia, which was big fun. It was pretty much outrage plus serendipity that brought me into the field. In 1978, as I was finishing my dissertation and about to graduate, I also gave birth to my first kid and read the first book, a book called Suffer the Children, The Story of Thalidomide, which was produced by the Insight team at the Sunday Times of London when that was a real newspaper. They had been tracking the story of thalidomide for some 20 plus years at that point. And it was a story that was just horrific. It was horrific. And here I am with a little baby in my arms, right? And there was this story about 10,000 babies born worldwide with no arms, no legs, internal organ disruption, all sorts of horrible things. And about a third of them were smothered before they ever took a breath. So that was the outrage part, and I thought, okay, this has got to stop. And the serendipity part was that I was graduating in sociology from Vanderbilt, and sociology at that time was a totally dead field. No jobs. So I did sort of a useless job search 78, 79. Vanderbilt kindly let me stay on a year and teach through 79, 80. And so I went back on the job market, but that year there were advertisements in the sociology bulletin for jobs in business and society. So I ran over to the Vanderbilt Business Library and looked up Keith Davis's textbook and said, shoot, this is just social problems. I can do this. And I applied to the three schools that had advertised and got interviews at two and an offer from the University of Pittsburgh, which was a tough interview because they were just beginning to hire women and they weren't quite sure we had what it took to be in a business school, you know. But it worked out okay. And I did go to Pitt and had wonderful colleagues there. What I wanted to accomplish was to save the world. I mean, I'm a child of the 60s. What can I tell you? And my expectation was that this probably wasn't going to happen through business because business was evil. So that's how I began this venture. And of course, I had to learn an awful lot about business in the meantime and did to spend a lot of time working on it, read Business Week religiously and the Wall Street Journal and so on until I could talk the patter, pretty effectively and, learned eventually that it's not business that's evil and it's not the people in business that are evil. It's the systems and structures that are in place that provide barriers to good decision-making, to kind decision-making, to beneficial decision-making. Oh, of course, absolutely. Goals, in terms of goals, I still wanted to save the world, and I still want to save the world, although I'm a little bit more sanguine about how that might not happen. And I also have a goal of producing and continuing to produce great scholarship, good scholarship, sound, believable, well-documented research. But my expectations about business have shifted over now, 40 years, as I began to realize that many of the people who go into business do so not to cause havoc in the world, but to earn a living for themselves and their families. And many of them go into business thinking this is a really good thing to do, that there are many advantages to being in business. And I realized also that a good many of them get trapped in those systems and structures that keep them from making good decisions. That really softened up my attitude about business a whole lot when I realized that we're all human beings together. One that's really important to me is climate change and environmental degradation. I remember from the early 1970s that many of the pundits believed that it was not possible to measure or evaluate environmental harms. Of course, the engineers figured it out. So we know a whole lot about how to do that. And there's a lot more to be done. Climate change is going to drown us all eventually, even though the Lord promised He wouldn't send the flood again. But He's not sending it this time, is He? It's coming anyway. The other domain that really bothers me still that we have a lot to do about is severe poverty in the world. This is something that concerns me a lot because it is inhuman. It's inhuman. For people to be dying young, dying of diseases that are now curable or preventable, uneducated, suppressed, kept down, scrambling for their everyday bowl of rice. It's just not right. It's not right. And I think business ethics and business and society has a lot to offer to the globe in terms of helping businesses solve the problems of severe poverty and also environmental degradation. IABS is a professional organization. This is a controversial statement, but I'm going to make it because it's really the first time I've ever made it publicly. IABS was my creation, my idea, and I was the one who recruited the people who actually made it work into the field. So I threw the idea out, and I gathered up the initial founders. Phil Cochran claims to be the mother and father of IABS, and he is in the sense that he did the actual work. So Phil and I claim to be father and mother of IABS. IABS now is in its 31st year. It has members from 25 and possibly 30 nations now. It has truly become an international affair. We're meeting in this summer, meeting in Lisbon, Portugal. We've met in Hong Kong, we've met in Sydney, we've met in Victoria, we've met all over the place. So IABS has truly become a place for research and theory and thinking to be nurtured and sustained and put out there. Plus, we took over the journal Business and Society, which has now come to be the premier journal in business and society. Beyond proud, I'm really, really grateful to have had such an opportunity to be on the ground floor, more or less, of an emerging and building field. If you haven't been there, you cannot imagine what a thrill it is to see something building that you're a part of. It's amazing. And I think about if I had had a career in sociology, which is what I was trained to do, I would have been plucking out somebody's, some little piece of somebody else's theory to work on, and nothing would have happened that would have been very interesting. Instead, I've had a really interesting 40 years, and I'm really grateful for that.